Handsome, isn't she? Just terrific condition. The boat is really clean and tidy. This is really good. A great coastal cruiser. How can this boat be 1980? It's flawless. This boat is kind of flawless inside. Look at the size of that. It's just great. That's point worthy, don't you think? And wait till you see what we have in here. Hi there, this is Captain Q and my old sailing buddy Randy. Join us as we travel hither and yon as we look for some great deals on classic boats and learn a little with each one.
Hey, Captain.
Randy, don't bother me. Don't bother me.
Taking a sniff?
Oh yeah, this reminds me of that old Walt Whitman poem. Do you remember that?
I don't.
I think it was called When Lilacs Last in the Dooryard Bloomed.
Oh yeah, that does sound familiar.
And I'm sitting right next to lilacs, and I feel like I'm in the dooryard right now.
Yeah, you are.
But I'm actually in, what town are we in? Cohasset, maybe?
Sure.
Okay.
If you say so.
You're easy. We're in Cohasset, and we're getting a chance today to look at a boat that we've been dying to see one of, and that's one of the boats from the Cape Dory line. We've talked about our friend Andrew Vavalotis, who founded the company back in, 1963. Like so many people that got hit in the 80s, he got bankrupted, and somebody in New York bought the company. They bought the molds, and then they very shortly went bust. And he gathered a couple of the molds and bought them and took them up to Robin Hood Marina in Maine. Tried and succeeded to build a brief line of high-end Cape Dories known as the Intrepid boats. And we were fortunate enough to have just shown one on Captain Q a few episodes back. We've heard about the Cape Dories, we've seen them, and we've seen the handiwork in the Intrepid line. And so we're really looking forward to actually seeing one of these hands-on. Not a race boat, but a really, really, really solid cruising boat. She's Carl Ahlberg designed, and she has a long keel with an attached rudder, which is going to give her some great straight line stability. Let's get over and take a look at it right now. Follow me over here. These surprises always seem to exhaust me.
I have some good news.
What is the good news?
We are going to go sailing, and we're inviting people to come with us
Oh, you guys are really lucky.
on a beautiful 12-meter former America's Cup boat,
Her name was
Heritage, in Newport, Rhode Island.
in Newport, Rhode Island.
June 19th, 20th, and 21st.
Terrific.
In the evening, I have one more surprise for you.
Really?
Once the wind calms down and the sun starts to set, we're going to do a little harbor cruise with a jazz trio on Gansett, a beautiful wooden harbor cruise boat where we'll have a little chit chat with people that want to come and hang out.
That sounds like terrific fun. How are we going to invite friends?
Well, we're going to make tickets available. So there'll be tickets for the sailing part of the days, and then we'll have tickets available for the Gansett Harbor evening cruise.
Oh, so they could be not necessarily the same people going on all the things.
Right.
So much to do in Newport. It's one of the greatest seaports in all of America, for sure. If you've never been to Newport, to Rhode Island, this is a trip worth making.
We're excited about sailing. We're excited about meeting some of our fans and our friends, the folks that have been supporting us this whole time. So
it's going to be an exciting time. What a great idea. Have an experience you might remember for a little while.
yeah.
Randy,
Yeah.
what are we going to do now?
Oh, I'm going to go to Instagram.
Randy,
I'll see you in Newport.
you know Instagram is not a place. Randy,
Yeah,
what do you think?
I like it.
Handsome, isn't she? One thing I've noticed though, she has a brown boot top. I've never been crazy about the brown. It should be something happy. That's not that happy, but it sort of does go because the top sides here are not pure white, are they?
No.
This is sort of almost a parchment color. But look, this has been buffed up sometime recently. It's in terrific shape. Just terrific condition. And even from down here, look at the tow rail, which is brown because it's teak. And that looks pretty good, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, I think he said, the owner said he has put down Sitka and a couple coats of gloss last year.
Here's a fathometer. Now this is kind of old school in a way, where they would bring it out to get it level. With so many of the flat bottom boats today, it's very easy to stick these through the hull. But here, because of the curvature and the depth of the bilge, the slack bilges, you got to build out a little piece of wood here, and then they put the depth sounder right on there. But this, I believe, is a combination depth sounder and speedometer. Coming after, I think we've got a bilge drain down in here. I would imagine, I can't imagine what else. That's a pretty big bilge drain though, so I think we might have to look inside. But he's got a grounding plate down here. We have a attached rudder. Ooh, a nice big easy swing thing. No movement on that. And it's the heel is pretty well buried down there in that lower gudgeon, if you will. See how nicely tight this is? There's not a big hole there. Now, is that a big deal? Yeah, because if you got a big hole there, if this thing is sitting out here or sloppy, the water's not gonna, it's gonna try and catch.
Yeah, might you get some growth in there too?
Oh, you'll definitely get growth in there when it sits on it. Matter of fact, I bet if I turn that over, you can see a couple little guys that didn't quite get knocked off. 3-bladed power prop here. That's going to take you cruising anywhere you want to go. Here's your water intake with a little screen on it. You know about those, don't you?
Yeah.
Did you ever have any issues with that on them?
I don't have one on mine.
You don't have a screen on it?
Correct. I was told that you kind of pick one or the other. Either have a screen on the inside or have a full-on strainer.
I do kind of like the idea of having the screen on the inside because this you can't get to, can you?
Right, exactly.
The boat is really clean and tidy. We've got...
This is one of the better bottom paint jobs we've seen in a while.
It is, yes. There's a couple of coats on here, but she's been smoothed over. Matter of fact, one of these boats that we looked at recently in our notes had something that had been soda blasted. So this may have been soda blasted recently. This is really good.
By the way, what does soda blast cost roughly? We talk about it a lot, but...
Well, we recently talked to a gentleman who suggested about $100 a foot.
Yep.
My question to him, and he disappeared before I got the answer, is that the waterline feet or is that the overall length? I'm not quite certain what that is. We'll have to find out where that is when we get inside. And this is an unusual piece here that I don't quite, it's got this funny little slot in it.
Isn't that the coin slot from the Audrey Hepburn movie?
That's how you, yeah, you. Now we got another little mystery hole here, but this is a forward. What do you think? Think they might have?
I would say it's sank for a head.
Deck wash?
Oh.
We got to get on board and take a look at this boat. What do you think? Think it's time to take a look at it?
Yeah, let's go to the Stairway to Heaven.
Okay. We love the subscribers.
Yeah, more subscribers means that we're going to get recommended to more people, and so that helps spread the love and spread the word about old classic boats and what we're doing, so every little bit helps.
Thanks again. Randy, come on up, pal.
Oh, thanks.
Okay, welcome. This is really a very nice cruising boat of the era, of the late 70s and the 80s. We have a very basic cockpit here. No tricks or fouls. There's a nice big wheel. We've got a reasonable size width cockpit seats, a nice teak combing here. You know, if you're off on a port tack and you got a cushion down here, you'll be wedged right into the side here. As you notice, the mast is not up.
I did notice.
Okay, so it's going to be in our way a little bit, but we'll talk about this mast. We have a nice Ritchie compass, bright and shiny. The boat has been well maintained, you can tell. There is a gear shift right behind this on this pedestal, which is a little unusual, and then a throttle over on this side. I believe that's the combination.
Yeah, so, why do they always do them kind of in between the spokes? I always find that that's a little awkward as you're steering.
Well, if you're standing up, you see, and you have both knees, you can reach down here just like so, okay? Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, it's not that ergonomic though.
It's not, but if you didn't have the autopilot ring on here,
yeah,
it would be easy enough to reach through that. We have the Raymarine radar and GPS combination set up here, and here's your autopilot.
That looks pretty new.
This looks spanking new, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And remember we talked about that on one of the boats, how you want to change course?
Yep.
You can just push one of these buttons 1 degree or 10 degrees. And this is a multi-pack arrangement that'll give you your depth, your speed, and your mileage through the water. A lot of instruments, remember there's 2 different types of speed, one through the water and one over the bottom. The boat actually just moves through the water. You want to know what that speed is, because if you want to adjust your sails to get the best speed, you'll adjust it to that. If you want to know how fast you're getting from A to B, you'll read your GPS, which will give you your speed over the bottom, which can be counteracted by a current, or it can be helped by a current. Can you look right down here, you'll see a pretty nice garage. There's a giant tank there, and I think that might be liquid compressed gas. We're always get a little confused with these gases. We've got liquid petroleum gas, you've got propane gas, you've got a CNG, which is compressed natural gas. I don't know, maybe our users would have some suggestion of what we want to look for, what they might prefer to use.
What's your preferred form of
Gas?
gas? And don't say Dinty Moore.
If they thought they should have a gasket, that would mean that this was going to be a heavy gas in here. So I think it's a light gas that's going to just float right out every time they open the light. All the fittings on here, a lot of these are made by Cape Dory. These are all bronze that have been chromed and everything. So a lot of the fittings come right from their shop, and they still manufacture them, and they sell them through a separate company under a separate name. Now it looks like a set of waterproof Bose speakers. And how nice is that, just cruising out there, you know, sliding along, and you have some Anya playing or Beethoven or whatever. Let's take a walk around the deck here. Interesting, just as we walk by, we notice an offset hatch, don't we?
Yep.
So we'll see what that means when we go below. This is a pretty nice beamy boat. She's 10 feet and a quarter, which isn't as fat as some we've seen, but the decks are quite wide and the cabin trunk is fairly narrow. It has a nice little hatch over the main cabin, 2 dorade vents on nicely varnished boxes. Isn't that pretty? That's a cute little guy. I'm not going to do the limbo underneath this.
I kind of want to see that.
You're brutal, buddy. Okay, here I go.
Look at how tough you are.
One for the team here, we call it. Give me a closer view of some other things. Like, first of all, what do we have here?
Nice little solar panel.
Solar panel that will bend. It'll shape itself to the deck, to the cabin top, and you know you can walk on this. Now, I'm going up here to a Maxwell windlass the owner put on himself. Did not come with the boat. He's owned the boat for 23 years. Look at that nice stainless steel chain. Oh. And look at that CQR up there. Is that a beauty? It doesn't look quite like a CQ.
I was going to say a Rockna, but...
Maybe a Rockna. I did find a water inlet down there, and here is your deck wash socket for it.
Yeah, you predicted it.
This is an invention of Cape Dory boats. This is their... When they cast these things, they came up with this line, which is pretty clever, because you can get almost any size line in there, and then you want to lock it in place, just throw that over and throw the key over. There we go.
Oh, we got a hat.
So there's your motor drive for the Maxwell, and it's nice to be able to get to it. I think maybe I see a little rust on the body of this. I'd like to maybe gasket the heck out of this so that no water gets down there. There's a little drain over here.
Oh yeah, there we go.
So when the boat heels over, some water may run out of this. Pretty staunch forward pulpit here. Notice it's got 2 separate pillars right here holding the whole thing together. So a lot of them just have the single going up there, which makes it a little wobbly. This spire's been painted a long time ago, and it'd be nice to paint it again. You wouldn't have to do it the first year you owned the boat. I believe he has bat cars on this, which are those ball bearing slides on the mainsail. So the main will go right up and right down. This light here is the steaming light. So when you're heading along at night and you've got under power only, you turn that on. And I don't know if he has a tricolor up on the masthead, but the other running lights are right on the bow. It's a split light right on the front of the bow pulpit, and that's going to have separate Fresnel lenses in it, green and red. Would you like to go below?
Yeah, let's go check it out.
Okay. Brandon, come on down, pal. Come on down.
All right.
I feel like, isn't that what that game show guy says? Come on down, right?
Yeah.
And then you get to pick a door?
You guessed it gets the price.
A card, is it the price?
Price is right.
Well, just pan around here for a second and just let the fans take in the woodwork and the cushions and the finish work in this boat, and the curtains, the TV, the locker space. You could look at the galley, but it's filled with a lot of stuff. We apologize for at this moment. And keep going around to the other side where the chart table is. What do you think? What would you pay for this boat?
I don't know, 30, 35,000?
$31,500.
Ah,
This feels brand new. How can this boat be 1980? That's 40 years old, 42 years old, right? It's flawless. This boat is kind of flawless inside. We didn't talk about it, but up on deck, there's a little crazing in some of the gel coat on the deck. It's hardly worth mentioning. I wouldn't bother a nickel to fix it or make it look perfect. It's just great. And this is really warm and comfortable down here. It is missing one thing, though. What would be nice down here?
a stove.
Yeah. With this woodwork down here. Check out the headliner, too, Randy. Right? Just feel it up there. Is that sort of a nice solid material? See?
Oh, yeah.
So easily wiped down. And there's a nice little, 3-foot square hatch there. Wonderful opening ports with big knurled knobs on them. And it's really nice. Look at the catchment here. Look at the ceiling inside the storage area. Look how nicely finished that is in there. This settee, the cushion goes in a long way.
Yeah, I think this flips up. The back flips up from the bottom.
Oh, good idea. Oh, look at that. So, is there a punch for that?
No, only at the bottom.
If you don't mind propping your arm under this while you're sleeping, you do get a super-sized berth here.
What do you think of this microfiber fabric?
Oh, it's great. It takes a real beating.
It's got kind of a velvety feel.
It does. It's not.
Or suede.
It is like ultra suede. It is a synthetic, so if you spill something on it, you can wash it off. Oh, let's just take a look. We like to look at these big tables because look at the size of that. If you pull up the one on your side, would you see that?
Probably.
There you go. Now, we could play ping pong, couldn't we?
Yeah. Put up a net. Or
Yeah. This is one of the bigger galley tables. Let me go up and show you what we have for a galley here. The galley is quite galley. That's all I can say. It's galley. It's got 2 deep sinks, pretty close to the center line. Is this what I think it is? Look at this over here. Here's your mini ubiquitous pot storage. You wouldn't want to fall in. It's nice ventilated storage, nice tidy storage. And I like the plate racks, all sized for the appropriate bowls and dinnerware. And on this side, how do you like that?
Oh yeah, that's a big icebox.
Oh, and more storage behind that. And this has got to be a 3-burner stove with an oven. Okay, we got the big oven here. Here's our electric panel backing out of the galley. These are old fuse types that'll pop on you. Here's your toggle switch to turn something on, and if the fuse pops, it's going to pop that fuse out, and you push it back in. It's under the companionway, but that's tucked in so far. I'm not going to complain about it.
How about under this cabinet here?
Nice access for this engine. It's kind of sitting right in our lap, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is a 2009 Universal M25 3-cylinder. She's 26 horsepower, and it's only got 500 hours on it. So it replaced the original Yanmar. The belts seem to be pretty tight and usual.
Got a little baby Raycor over here.
Okay, right. Yes, you do. And I think you can get to just about everything there, can't you?
Yep.
And we can't get into the lockers because the mast is sitting on them up there. But it's like all these boats of that period, you can always get to the back of the engine through a sail locker. Sure. This is called a bilge pump count. And we just discovered this on a boat somewhere, and I think maybe you even bought one of these for yourself.
I did. Once we saw it, yeah.
Great idea. If you're taking on a little bit of water and it just keeps coming in and pumping it out, you've got a leak. And if you come home and you find there's like number 35 on here, that means that bilge pump has cycled 35 times, using up battery juice and also bringing to mind what's leaking. But here's a little device for it in here. This is a spare water pump he's put in here, you see, with a little water filter. But this is a hanging locker for foul weather gear. Isn't that clever? And that's going to drain down to the bilge. Guess where I am?
Nav station.
Nice nav station. Yes, very nice. Got not a lot of instrumentation, but he's got your basic Raymarine repeater down here, so you know if there's anything coming at you or you're heading for. Plus a charting device as well. Beneath that, we have a West Marine CD player, I believe. Is that what that is?
It's a radio with a USB thing.
Yeah. So we have a interesting device here that we'll have to read the manual about. Now, for me, the overhead divides the chart table, so I'm going to have to sit a little bit to one side with this hat on. If I didn't have the hat on, I'd be okay under here. But we've got a good VHF back here. Let's take a look inside here. Oh, look at that. That's point worthy, don't you think?
Oh yeah. Bonus.
That's tidy. These are very interesting things. And there's a question. What are these?
Clamps for the stove.
A point for Rende. Okay, so I'm in the front end of a quarter berth here, and if somebody's sleeping in the quarter berth, they can be all the way back in here because it's pretty deep. I guess we got to go forward for a few minutes, don't you think? Look at all this wood in here. Look how nice that is. There's not a lot of formica showing, blinding or anything. This feels Hinklish. If this were varnish with 4 coats of varnish, you'd think you're in a Hinkley.
I see something by your foot.
Oh, mast is stepped on the keel.
Yeah.
And that mast step looks to be in pretty good condition down there. And wait till you see what we have in here. What do you think? What do you see here? The head. Fore and aft.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's no big one.
Oh, come on. That's very big. We know that's big. We like that because once you're seated in here, you know, if the wave hits, you plow into the wave, you're going to stay right in the seat. We've got access in here to storage goods, and I don't know if you can see this, but you can see one of the shroud chain plates.
Yep.
Look how bright and nice that is. Everything, you know, all the cabinetry behind there, there's no major dings or dills or leaks or anything. And, you know, we've got storage where we want it. Now, I don't know where the shower head has gone. It lived in here, I think. But there is a shower drip pan down here, and she does have hot water. I got a nice bifold door there. The forward bifold door here comes right in, and there's a little fitment there right in this groove here, and the door goes right in there, and you've got privacy. On the way by, look at this hanging locker. And I see a little inspection plate down there. I wonder what's under that. Do you think there might be a valve?
Tankage.
Okay.
What do you got?
Oh, it's a through hole fitting.
Oh, wow.
You know what it is? That's a plug for the depth sounder or the speedometer.
Oh, yeah, that's about the right
And there's a
spot.
plastic plug, and they have a little wire on the top of it.
Yep.
And when you see that, you can grab that wire and pop it, turn it. There's usually a cap outside that you turn, and once that cap is loose, then you pull that wire, pull it out. Okay, let's see what we have forward. This is a nice little four-peak. We're in a 35-footer. If I stood up right now, I'd have headroom under the hatch, and this is about 4 square feet of hatch or so. We've got 2 opening ports on either side for cross ventilation. There's a little desk-type table arrangement here, and we have a drawer, so you can put your watch and your glasses and your teeth in here. You know.
What about your pills?
I'm finding that's and your pills, and place for your shoes, and there is a hanging locker here, of course, for the owners. Depending on your age and so forth, you got a nice place to sit, take off your shoes. Once you put the filler piece in here, you're going to lose all this space right here, and that's kind of too bad. So, depending on how you set up the sleeping arrangements, you can have a nice big double in here. I can try this. Should I try this?
I think you should, yeah.
Okay. This is here we go.
Degree of difficulty?
Degree of difficulty is
2.3.
That's all?
Yeah, it's low.
When you're looking at boats anywhere, be respectful of the boat owner and what he's done to keep the boat straight. So take off your shoes. I'm going to do this anyway. And I would like a little handhold there. And I'm lying on part of the canvas Dodger right now. But if the Dodger weren't there and you gave me a pillow, oh, you did. Look at that.
It's 2 in a row.
Oh, and I'm looking up here through this happy skylight, which is totally transparent, isn't it? Or is that translucent?
That looks translucent. One of these days.
But look at this wood here. You know how many boats we get into and we see drips coming down here and stains? A great coastal cruiser. Would you want to go very far offshore? You could if you wanted to, and you'd be happy. But not everybody goes around the world, do they?
No.
So let's just enjoy and relax it. And we thank everybody for watching this segment.
Yeah, you can have a moment of zen.
And I'm going to have a moment repose. Randy, after spending a lot of time looking at Andy Vavilata's Intrepid 40 and knowing a lot about Cape Dory boats that are out there, but having a hard time finding them because they don't come on the market that often, we were able to find a Cape Dory built in 1980 has had 2 owners. The last owner has had her for 23 years. He's been a great steward for the boat. We went through the whole thing. The wonderful woodwork below decks and the beautiful green fabric made a nice combination of true warmth. We did wish it had a fireplace though, didn't we?
Yeah.
I've seen these boats under sail. They're really pretty under sail. They're not a racing machine, but you can walk away from that wheel. You can lock that wheel when you get it in a straight line, and she'll sail herself. A Carl Alberg design, never bad. She's a floater. That's a floater. 10 points for floating.
How many points for Alberg?
Oh, he gets 5 right away because he's a good designer and he's done all these boats, and we know about the history of all his other boats. So we're taking him up to 15. And another 15 right off the bat for the good stewardship, so that anybody that buys this boat is going to have to clean the outside of the motor. And that's about it. What do we have?
30.
That's it.
Bingo.
Thank you so much for watching. And for those of you who might have been concerned, we just want you to know that
it was there.
It was there in our hearts.
In spirit.
If you like what you see, please hit the subscribe button. And if you want to be notified when the next one comes out, please hit the alert bell. And that's not desperate at all. Randy, how would I ever find out what's coming up next?
You can follow us on Instagram here,
Yeah.
or Facebook here. We'll have little previews of what's coming up on our next episodes a little bit early.
That's pretty cool. Preview. You all join me. I'm going to Instagram right now, and I'm going to find out what's coming up next week. Thank you very much.
You know, Instagram's not a place.